Alright, so this video we're going to talk about the build. Okay, so we've been faking it up until now. We've been building flats and then we've been adding interaction just to kind of get the user testing going. You might have a slightly more complete website, but it's still often at this stage, you've done it quick and dirty and now you've got to go and build it. Now if you're working at a bigger company, you won't be building it. You'll be part of a development team and they'll be kind of taking it over from here and actually doing some of the building. Okay, and they'll be able to advise you. If you're working on a smaller team or working with a project, say you're doing the UX design for a smaller company and they don't, you've got to really advise them on what to do next. This is where I could potentially help. I've got a lot of experience in this area. I've written a lot of courses about it. There's lots of my other courses on building websites now. Yeah, so reach out if you do find this part, you're not too sure where to go. Tell me what your options are and what your tasks are, and I can tell you what your options might be. So you might be doing apps. Do I do it in Android or do it iOS? Maybe there's some sort of bridging one where you can do it in both to get it out, like PhoneGap. Maybe it's a website. Is it static? Do I do it in Dreamweaver? Do I do it on Muse? Maybe it needs a CMS, so it needs a login and things. So, okay, do I use a hosted one like WordPress or Joomla or Drupal? Or do I use a SaaS solution? SaaS are cool because you just log into the website and make a website presto, like Shopify or Eventbrite. They're a good SaaS solution. So do drop me a line if you are at this build stage and you need a little bit more advice. Yeah, all right. So I'll see you in the next video. All right, so you've built your project and what happens now? Now you're kind of crossing over into maybe a little bit of out of your UX kind of project and into more just caring for the business. Okay, so it's up to you. It'll depend on the size of your team. Now, if you're working with a larger organization, there's going to be people that are going to pick up this kind of like optimizing and testing after the fact, okay, and kind of like nurturing the business product. But if you're working in a smaller team or working on your own project, this is totally part of your UX project, okay, because it's testing, but it's with live sites and with actual customers. So let's look at some of the things you can do. Now, probably one of the nicest and easiest tests you can do once you've got something live, say it's an app or it's a website, is you can start doing multivariable testing. So everybody calls it A/B testing or ABC testing. It's just a way of having two versions. You split your, grab some of your visitors and you stick half of them on one side and half of them doing the other thing, and then you compare the results. Now the trick with it is that you need to keep it small, okay? You don't want to go change a load of things and then compare it with the old version because you're not going to really know what it's going to be. So it takes quite a long time. So what people tend to start with is call to actions and maybe pricing. Those are the kind of big easy things to test, and then later on you start kind of working in the smaller smaller parts. It might be some of the headlines and then working through to some of the strap lines and things like that. Okay, so in terms of testing, you're going to need a tool to do it. There are kind of three main ones. There's this one here, Optimizely, and this one here, VWO, and Google does one called Content Experiments. Now, I use Content Experiments the most because it's built into analytics and it's super easy to get going. If you've never used it before, Google Analytics, then you might have to go one of these other two. These other options here I like more. I've used both of them. VWO here has lots of other resources. So does Optimizely. They're both really good. Have a little look at. For me, it really comes down to their pricing plans when I was looking at it. But I've used both of them. They're both really good. They both do A/B testing, but they do A/B testing plus other stuff. And have a look at the other stuff. That might be some of the things that convince you one or the other. Content Experiments is free. Google get away with loads of free stuff, but you need to have an analytics account running. If you don't have that, it's also free to get going. But that can be a little bit of a headache, where these are really quick and easy to get set up. So what they are is, this one here has a really good example. So let's have a look at the little video. See, look, example, they've moved it to the right. They've got two versions, the original versus the other one, and then your hundreds of thousands of dollars of sales come in. Okay, and I get that's, in a nutshell, that's what you're doing. Okay, you're looking at conversion rates, and they're never going to be this, dragging it to one side is never going to give you another $150,000 in sales. It might do, okay? But normally it's small things, okay? And often it's really hard unless you have good traffic. Okay, so say one of my sites, like the site I was working on this morning, has 5,000 people coming in per month, which is cool, but it's huge to get statistically significant changes. I do an A/B test and it takes ages to run because it gets quite anecdotal in terms of, oh, I had a sale yesterday, I had a sale this afternoon, I had a sale tomorrow. And, you know, was it better than last month? It's hard to know because there's so many changes. So you need good numbers to make this work. If you've got a brand new site, it's not time to be A/B testing. Okay, well, it could be, but in terms of statistics, it's quite tough. So you might have to make some big, broad changes, and that's fine. Maybe it's pricing. That's a nice, easy one to test with small numbers. But when you start changing the color of a button, okay, from blue to green, it's going to be a little bit hard to measure that statistically if you don't have a good amount of customers. All of them are easy to implement, so have a look at which one of those are going to work. So one of the other things that are quite useful in terms of you've got a product and you're trying to figure out some testing, okay, is installing a search bar. So this search bar here, you can install any search bar. If you're using a CMS like Joomla or Drupal or WordPress, you can use that. They've got search functions. Same with Google. What you want to do is you don't just want to install any old search bar. What you want to do is you want to have a search bar that gives you details, because you might have a site, right? And say you're selling widgets, and great, you've got your red, green, and blue widgets on there. Great, and they're selling okay. And then you go and add a search bar. Okay, and what you might find out, but people keep coming to your site unknowingly. You haven't been selling yellow widgets because you're like, who buys yellow widgets? But people have been using the search bar, searching for where your yellow widgets are because they've found the red, green, and blue, but they can't find the yellow ones. And it's great because you can get data from that search engine to go, I didn't even consider the yellow ones. You know, oh well. And that's some really good testing that people kind of, they offer up what they want. Okay, I do it for my ones where people come to my site and they'll be searching for something that's maybe outside of the scope of what I've got or what I think's popular, and people are searching for it, so I can go off and build that course or build that training because people are kind of looking for it. I'm like, oh, that's within my skill set. I can make something like that. So search bars are really useful. Just make sure they give you some sort of data about who are tracking. Okay. Yeah, so there are lots built into CMSs. If you don't have a site that has a CMS, Google do one called this CSE, okay, custom site search, and they allow you to use the power of Google on your own site. It's a little bit googly, and you do have to pay for it, but it's the best in terms of tracking. You can hook it up to your advertising and do all sorts of cool stuff with it. But anyway, that's the one I use. And one of the last things you can do, there's lots you can do in post, okay, in terms of UX, but in terms of the nice low-hanging fruit, another nice one is live chat. Live chat, if you're responsible for kind of getting to a project to its launch, be part of that live chat. So live chat is, let's look at one of my sites. It's the little bar down the bottom here that says, hey, want to chat with Dan? Okay, by clicking that and entering in something here, I get a message either on my phone or on my through my browser saying that somebody wants to chat. And what I've found it really useful for is that what people might not say, okay, they come to the site, because when you're tracking data and analytics and those sorts of things, it's lovely, but you don't really know what they're thinking. Okay, this here opens a window to people start asking questions. It's funny, when I had my first kind of language, this thing here, this cancel anytime, since I've added that, man, my live chat has dropped. So many people were asking me, there's a free trial, can I cancel? In my head, I'm like, that's a free trial. Like how, you know, obviously you can cancel. It's not just a free trial and then I force you to pay at the end of the 10 days. But that was kind of, but so many people wanted to just double check. Okay, so and live chat really told me quite quickly that I needed to change the language on the site. So you'll see cancel anytime everywhere now. And I have, like, it is a bit anecdotal because I don't have tens of thousands of visitors, but it has been quite important for me to know these things, because people might have just left because there is no channel. You know, people didn't want to get the hassle of going to the contact us form. They were doing that as well, but live chat has really just opened a bit of a door to my people. And the cool thing about it is you can turn them into user tests. So people might ask, can I cancel anytime? And as part of live chat, I can see what pages they've been looking at. It's a bit creepy, but so what I tend to do is they'll ask about a question and I'll ask them, hey, you know, what are you doing with HTML5 banner ads or After Effects or UX? And they'll start kind of telling me a bit about them, what they've been doing. And I get this kind of sense from people kind of one at a time, and they're doing, what they're looking, what their hassles are, what their problems are, what they're liking about the site. And I find live chat, even though it's not a UX tool specifically, I'm finding it, using it for user experience is an amazing little extra. All right, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. All right, we're at the end. Boo. Okay, hope you enjoyed the course, but what you got to do now is how do you stay current? What do you got to do? And what's the next steps? It might be that you need to go off and learn some skills. Okay, it might be you need to go and do, say, my Photoshop for Web UI course or my Experience Designer or Muse. There's a bunch of ones that I've got, but regardless of who you do it or where you do it, go off and maybe get your skill level up. That might be something you can do. But now you need to stay current. And how do you do that? Easiest way is there's podcasts out there. I listen to them while I'm running. There's not one that I really like enough to give you, put my weight behind, but download a few of them. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. They're free. Okay, you can listen when you're traveling. Other good things to sign up for is obviously LinkedIn groups, Facebook groups, follow good people on Twitter. If you want to follow me, I'm Dan Loves Adobe on Twitter. So those are good social media things just to kind of get snippets of when you're going. What you can do though, one of the nice things to do is meetup.com. Meetup.com is, there's lots of things on there, and look for specifically UX groups. And they're popping up all over the place because it's quite popular now. And like say the one here in Dublin it's really strong. There's like 100 people that turn up once a month. They have presenters. It's sometimes people that are on tour for book tours, and it's really well done, and it's generally really good presenters, and it means you get to mingle with other people at your sort of level. There'll be loads of people there kind of turning up going, I don't really know what UX is, so that's why I'm here. Okay, so you can help them, they can help you. You find more experienced people. Meetups can be a really good way to get involved. Regardless, one other thing is newsletters. Okay, I like uxforthemasses.com. It's the one I read the most. Okay, they've got some really good stuff that comes out. Now, yeah, that's going to be us. You get to kind of, where's my post-it note? Oh, there he is. Okay, you get to now wear your post-it notes, stick them all around your desk, show people you know what you mean business when it comes to UX, and that's going to be the end of our course. Haere rā, good people, and I'll see you in my next videos.